Namaste everyone. So now that we have practiced our sarika posture, we can move on to uh, learning how to say and play the two basic notes in Aanak, ta and tra. So both the notes are in Devanagari script. You'll encounter them in the Devanagari script. Ta looks like a backwards H, and tra looks like a backwards K. So ta is a simple note. You start off with ta, 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 ta. You don't want to be too forceful with how you hit the stick when you do ta. You don't want to go like that. You don't want to smash it down because, of course, we don't want to break the sarika either. We want to let the wrist do the movement. We don't want to move our arms. We don't want to move our arms like this when we're doing it. When we do it, when we play ta or even tra, our wrist should be the only things moving the sarika. Our arms and other parts of the body should not be moving. And make sure you have the support fingers. Don't use them as much as you would because for ta, you want to make sure it hits properly, cleanly, but it's not too forceful. So keep the support finger there, but don't use it as much. So for tra is basically four tas combined into one, and it's a kind of, let's say, like a rolling motion, I would say. So when you do tra, it kind of looks like this. So that was me doing it for a long extended period of time. But if you just see one tra note, it's gonna be four rolling motions. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's one tra. So if I was to do it very fast, it would be. So the thing that I just played there was a ta. So ta, ra, 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 and the last note ta in one section. So ta, ra, 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 which is just one tra note, would be ta, ra, ra, ra. So four tas, but just in a in a rolling motion. You have to make sure you use the support finger so that it dribbles, the sarika dribbles, and it should be dribbling with both hands. Left, right, left. This is where the support finger comes into play. Because if you didn't have the support finger, then it would just dribble like, it would just go like this. But if you do have the support finger, then it'll stay and dribble like that. That's what you want to get it to, but you can start off slow like this and try to increase your speed so that you can get to that ideal like this. So that was ta and tra, and I shared the two PDF pictures with you guys with the 12 sections of notes that you could practice on each PDF page. So I'm just gonna go through both of them and play them for you and say the ta and tra notes before I play them so that you guys get an understanding of how like that you should be saying the notes while you play them in your mind so that when you play it, it's you have a easier time understanding in the beginning phases at least how to play it at what speed and stuff like that. So I'm going to start with the first page, the section first page, first section. So what I see here is the space, the space, the space, the space. So I want to start off with my right hand. So the, so sorry, the space, And then I want to go with my left hand. Da space, da space, da space. That completed the 4 sections of the first line. So in total, I had da space, da space, da space, da space. And this is how I played it. Da space, da space, da space, da space. Now moving on to the second line, here I have the, 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 the space. So this is how I would play it. The, 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 the space. Now moving on to the third line, here we have the, space, the. And this is how I would play it. The, space, the. Now moving on to the fourth line. Here we have the, space, the, space. So this is how I would play it. The, space, the, space. So just to clarify for that fourth line, you saw that I had a sped up the section where I went like da. Basically, when you see that bar underneath 2 tha's, it's basically combining those 2 tha's, and basically you have to play those 2 tha's in the time that it would have taken if there was just 1 tha there. So where if it was just the, then we would do the. But since there's 4 notes in the space of 2, where there were previously 2 notes, we have to play it faster. So it would be da. Okay? So for the fifth line, we have da space, da space. Da space, da space. Now for line 6, da 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 da. Da 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 da. Line 7, da 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 da. Da 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 da. Line 8, da 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 da. Da 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 da. Line 9, da 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 space. Da da space. Line 10, da space, da space, da. Line 11, da 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 da. Da 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 da. Line 12, line 12, da 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 da. Da 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 da. Now, this was the whole first page, so lines 1 to 12 on the first PDF page that I shared with you guys. And now we're moving on to the second page. So line 1 of the second page, da space, 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 da space, space, space. Da space, 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 da space, space, space. Line 2, da space, da space, da space, da space, da space. Da space, da space, da space, da space. Now line 3, da space. Da space. Line 4, da space, da space, da. Line 5, da ta 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 ta. Line 6, ta 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 space, ta 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 space, ta 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 space, ta 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 space. Now in line 7, you'll see that there's one note that has a bracket underneath and it has 4 thas in it. So basically just how we did for the previous sections where there was a bracket and there were 2 thas, and we would play those two, that one note, which is 2 thas, in the same time it would just take 1 tha at that same location. Now we have to play 4 thas in the time that it would take to play just 1 tha. So for line 7, we would say ta 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 ta. This is how you would play it. Ta 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 ta. I'll just play it one more time, and I'm gonna say it while I do it so that it helps me to play it. So ta 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 ta. Now moving on to line 8, here is the first time we encounter the tra note in these 2 pages. So I'm just going to say it and then I'll play it. Ta-ra-ra-ra-ta, 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 ta-ra-ra-ra-ta. Just as I said before, when you do tra, all it is 4 dribbles. Ta-ra-ra-ra. So here in line 8, the first section, we see ta-ra-ra-ra-ta. So what we want to do is ta-ra-ra-ra-ta. That's one section, but we just want to do it faster. So this is how it would look at full speed. Ta-ra-ra-ra-ta, 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 ta-ra-ra-ra-ta. Now moving on to line 9, we have ta 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 space, ta 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 space, and this is how you play it. Space, space. Now I didn't say it, so I'm just gonna say it and play it once more. Ta 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 space, ta 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 space. Just again, remember, say it when you play it. It makes it much easier. Line 10. So when you see, we encounter a new notation, which is, it looks like an S. Basically, when you see that, you just want to continue whatever note you were playing before you encountered that for the duration of that one note. So we have in the first section of line 10, we have ta-ra-ra-ra, and then we encounter the S. So what you want to do is play the first note, ta-ra-ra-ra, and then for the same amount of time of one note, you continue that ta-ra-ra-ra for that second note. So it would be ta-ra-ra-ra-ra-ra-ra. So just imagine, just think of it as having a second tra note there. So it would be like ta-ra-ra-ra-ra-ra-ra for the first section of line 10. So I'm going to say the full line 10 and then I'll play it. Ta-ra-ra-ra-ra-ra-ra-ta space, ta-ra-ra-ra-ra-ra-ra-ta space. Ta-ra-ra-ra-ra-ra-ra-ta space, ta-ra-ra-ra-ra-ra-ra-ta space. Now line 11, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, sorry, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta space, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta space. It's a little confusing, but if you say it, then if you say it, and you'll slowly be able to get it. Ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta space, ta-ta-ta-ta space, space. I'll just play that one more time. Space, space. Now line 12. Space, space. Space, space. So this was our practice for tha and thras, and just keep in mind to always remember to say it while you play it, or at least say it before you play it. When you're in the beginning phases, it'll help you get better much faster than if you were to just play it.